Hello, everybody. We have another book today, one that you may have heard uh, when you were younger or something. I haven't read it for a while, but when we had snow recently, and I was thinking it was getting kind of slippery and maybe hard to get up some of the hills near my house, I was thinking of this book. And this story is called Axel Annie. It's by Robin Pulver, and it's one of my favorites. So I hope you like it too. Axel Annie. See, she is a school bus driver, and many of you are lucky enough to live close enough that you can walk to school, or your parents give you a ride, and some of us have to ride the bus, and a bus is a pretty big vehicle for driving around in the snow. Doesn't take, it takes a lot to keep a bus from getting out there. So here we are. In the town of Burskyville, the luckiest kids rode on Axel Annie's school bus. Axel Annie did magic tricks. She told jokes and she sang silly songs. The kids couldn't wait to see her every morning and hear her cheerful call, "Get on up these steps before I leave without you." Winter packed a wallop in Burskyville. Whenever a storm came up, the superintendent of schools, Mr. Solomon, telephoned Axel Annie. "It's nasty out there, Annie," he'd say. "Think you can make it up Tiger Hill? If you say no, I'll close the schools. My decision depends on you." Tiger Hill was on Axel Annie's bus route. It was the toughest hill in Burskyville, but Axel Annie's reply was always the same. "Mr. Solomon, do snow plows plow? Do tow trucks tow? Are school buses yellow? Of course I can make it up Tiger Hill." And she always did. That's why the schools in Burskyville never had a snow day. Shifty Rhodes hated that. Shifty was the nastiest school bus driver in Burskyville. At every meeting of the Grouch and Grump Club, Shifty complained about his job, especially in the winter. He grumbled for having to get up early to warm up his bus. He fussed about trucks sloshing slush all over his windshield, and he bellyached about boots that made puddles on the bus. "And I never, ever get a snow day," he always said, "all because of that Axel Annie." One rip-roaring winter morning, Axel Annie's phone rang. "It's a blizzard out there, Annie," the superintendent said. "Think you can make it up Tiger Hill? If you say no, I'll close the schools. My decision depends on you." "Mr. Solomon," Axel Annie replied, "do snow plows plow? Do tow trucks tow? Are school buses yellow? Of course I can make it up Tiger Hill." Look at that weather. Shifty Rhodes was still in bed. "And now for the school closings," announced the radio. "Every town in the 5-county area has closed its schools except for one. And that's—" "Don't say Burskyville," pleaded Shifty. "Burskyville," said the radio. "All because of Axel Annie," grumbled Shifty, and he bundled up and headed for his bus. Axel Annie was already on her way. When Tiger Hill loomed ahead, she called out, "Hold on to your earmuffs." "Gun the engine!" shouted the kids. "Put your pedal to the metal." Axel Annie did, and she roared up Tiger Hill, past all the ditched vehicles and stranded drivers. Yep, there's some moms and dads who couldn't quite make it up, and they went off the side Now they're stuck. At the top, she stopped as usual and called back to the snowbound drivers. Get on up these steps before I leave without you. And they rode along with the kids to school, where they telephoned for tow trucks to pull their cars out of the snow. Of course, Shifty Rhodes was in a terrible mood that morning. When the kids on his bus got the least bit noisy, he yelled, "You drive me crazy!" And the kids yelled back, "You're the one that's driving, not us." Shifty was still mad when he ventured out that evening to the Grouch and Grump Club. But then a miracle happened. A new member introduced himself. "The name's Hale Snow. Snow's my name and snow's my game." Hale explained that he was the new owner of the Burskyville Ski Resort. "Business is bad," he grumbled. "I even bought a new snowmaking machine, but who needs it? It just sits on my truck like a bamboozled bump on a blizzard-blasted log. The best days for me should be snow days, when kids head for the slopes because school's closed. But the snow-blasted schools here never close." After the meeting, Shifty Rhodes collared Hale Snow. "You know why we never get a snow day?" he asked. "Axel Annie, that's why." And Shifty told Hale all about Axel Annie and Tiger Hill. "Snarlin' snowflakes!" exclaimed Hale. "There must be something we can do." "Maybe there is," said Shifty, "with that snowmaking machine of yours." "I get your drift," said Hale. "Just say the word and I'll haul my machine over to Tiger Hill. We'll whomp up such a storm there, not even Axel Annie will make it up the hill." "Whoop-de-doo!" cheered Shifty. The very next Monday morning, Axel Annie's telephone rang. "Annie," said Mr. Solomon, "it's the storm of the century. Think you can make it up Tiger Hill? If you say no, I'll close the schools. My decision depends on you." "Mr. Solomon," replied Axel Annie, "do snowplows plow? Do tow trucks tow? Are school buses yellow? Of course I can make it up Tiger Hill." Meanwhile, Shifty Rhodes was peeping outside into the howling whiteness. "Yippee!" he shouted, and he telephoned Hale Snow. "No school in its right mind should be open today." "Whew, it's a wing-dinger of a storm," Hale agreed, "and my machine will make it 10 times as bad on Tiger Hill. Axel Annie will never make it up. Meet me there and watch the fun for yourself." Icy snow stung Shifty's face as he plodded to his bus. Finally, he revved up the engine and drove into the storm. Let's see what kind of business they're up to. Shifty's bus slivered and slid its way to Tiger Hill. Suddenly, Shifty caught sight of something in the road. He leaned on the brakes, but the bus skidded and bucked and plowed into right into whatever it was. "Sled bustin' snowflakes, Shifty," hollered Hale Snow. "You clobbered my snowmaking machine." Shifty apologized, but he couldn't feel too bad. Hale Snow's machine had turned Tiger Hill into a monstrous mountain of swirling snow. Look at all these cars just stuck. It's quite the blizzard. As Axel Annie's bus approached Tiger Hill, the kids yelled, "Yikes! Hold on to your earmuffs," Annie called. "Gun the engine, Annie," shouted the kids. "Put the pedal to the metal." Axel Annie tried, But near the top of the snowy hill, the wheels spun, the engine strained, and the bus was stuck. "You can do it, Annie," the kids yelled. But for the first time ever, Annie wasn't sure she could. Would the Burskyville schools close after all? And then suddenly, the bus seemed to sprout wings. Slowly and gently, it glided up, up, up to the top of Tiger Hill. "Hooray!" shouted the kids. Axel Annie looked around. It wasn't wings that she saw. It was all the stranded drivers that Annie had helped so many times before. "Thanks a million," shouted Annie. "Now get on up these steps before I leave without you." So you see all these moms and dads and people on their way to work who got stuck, they're helping Annie. She'd helped them out so many times, giving them a ride. Well, then Annie looked again and saw two snowmen trudging up the hill. Shifty roads and hail snow. When Annie saw the mangled snowmaking machine down below, their whole mean plot came to her in a flash. Axel Annie gunned her engine, but Shifty and Hale looked so miserable she couldn't get mad. "Oh, get on up these steps," she called. "Before we leave without you," the kids yelled. Shifty Rhodes had to pay all the money in his piggy bank to fix his school bus and the snowmaking machine, and then he skedaddled out of town and got a job on a cruise ship. Hale Snow was sorry he'd ever gotten mixed up with Shifty Rhodes. He thought Axel Annie was one humdinger of a woman. In fact, his business doubled when he named a new ski slope after her. See, it's called Axel Annie Slope. You think Shifty Rhodes will like working on a cruise ship where it's warm and it never snows? Whenever kids headed for that steep and scary slope, they asked each other, "You think we can make it down okay?" The answer was always the same. "Do snowplows plow? Do tow trucks tow? Are school buses yellow? Of course we can make it down Axel Annie Slope." And they usually did. Not everybody, I see. Well, that was a funny one. I liked that one. It always makes me think of Axel Annie whenever it's snowing and I'm on my way home and thinking, can I make it up the hill in this weather? And thank goodness, I always do. Axel Annie is my motivation. Got her in my mind. So I will see all of you soon. Bring your books back to school and trade them in for 2 new ones. I'll see you soon. Bye.